Hey everyone, I'm Jen and I own a veterinary technician relief business.
And I'm Michelle. I own a veterinary technician mobile house call business.
And you are
And you are
listening
listening
to
to
Endless
Endless
Journeys,
Journeys,
the Vet
the
Tech
Vet Tech
Odyssey
Odyssey
podcast.
podcast.
In this podcast, we will be discussing and meeting with credentialed technicians who have created their own path with business ownership within the veterinary space.
Our goal is to help inspire burnt out vet techs before they leave the industry altogether through our stories and the stories of other vet tech business owners.
Hey everyone, you're tuning in to part 2 of our latest episode. If you haven't listened to part 1 yet, we highly recommend checking it out first to get the full context and enjoy the entire conversation. Both parts are packed with insights and stories that you won't want to miss. Thanks for joining us, and let's dive back in.
Right. So, Kelly, what aspect of your work are you most passionate about, and how do you keep that passion alive?
I think trying to leave a legacy is the aspect that I am the most passionate about. Just making sure that what I've done or what I've added to the field is more than what I've taken from it, and just making sure that I'm thinking about how I can constantly give back. And honestly, the ways that I can keep that alive are just trying to help veterinary medicine work smarter, not harder, which we've talked about a bunch. And then really making sure that, if I have an opportunity to educate and to help someone else grow, that I'm taking that opportunity. And I love speaking at conferences because of the fact that I get that opportunity to hit so many people and to really help so many people. And I just truly enjoy the idea of how can we all make it just a tiny bit easier for each other.
It's definitely you're putting more into the industry, like, you with everything you've done with the finances. I think you're the only person I know who's a vet tech who is educating about finances to vet techs, and you're definitely leaving a major impact in our industry.
Oh, I super appreciate you
Yes.
saying that. It's definitely been a little bit of a lifelong passion, and honestly, there's so many things that we could do a little bit better or just think about a little bit differently, right? And I think a lot of us get into that mindset of, gosh, we're just not going to make a lot, so we're never going to get anywhere. We're never going to have a stable lifestyle. We're never going to have this or that or the other thing. And sometimes it's just a matter of, how can we be smarter about asking for more? How can we be smarter about negotiating for more? How can we be smarter about utilizing what we have better? And how can we do it in a way that honors the type of life that we want to have, right?
Right.
Yes.
And I mean, like, we're just vet techs, right? But I think that
We're
also
not just vet techs.
No, I know that, but
We're superheroes.
that's what people think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what we tell ourselves, and that's where it all
When are you
stems
going back to
from.
become a DVM? Like, when are you
Yeah.
going back to school,
And
right?
right, like clients a lot. I know that that's where mine stemmed from was from clients. They talk to you about, well, I want to talk to the doctor. I don't want to talk to you. Like, you're not important. Like you said, when are you going to become a doctor? We talk about how vet tech isn't really a career. And so that's where we get our mindset from. And then we allow that mindset to burrow in deeper into our brains. And then we allow our mindset to get like that we're stuck or that we're not that important or we work at a clinic that doesn't utilize us the way that we should, and we allow them to do that, and we stay at those clinics. And it's like you are the person that creates your own path to, if
Yep.
you want more, you have to create more for yourself. And in a way, your mindset is what's limiting you. Because you can
Yes.
do anything that you I mean, you can do anything that you wanna do just because you've decided to be a veterinary technician doesn't mean that you can't be more, you can't make more, you can't do more, and that's exactly why we're doing this podcast.
And I think honestly, I came from a place of having seen folks who are just, breaking every glass ceiling that ever existed, right? Like my very first volunteer role was with probably one of the best humans on the planet, Angel Rivera, and just watching him as a VTS in emergency and critical care and seeing how every person in a room respected what he had to say and respected the physiology and the education that he brought into a room. seeing that, I think, started my eyes open in that career. And honestly, I wanted to go to vet school. I very much did. I was on the path to do it. I had early admittance. I lost that early admittance actually because of the fact that I have positional dyslexia and I couldn't do R&S rotations in atoms for organic chemistry. Every other class was perfectly fine. Organic chemistry was just the worst thing that ever happened to me. And I look at that now, and when you look back on things like that, that happenstance that sets you on a path, it was probably the one path that I didn't actually plan out in my life, right? And instead of being a very small fish in a very big pond as a veterinarian, I have had the opportunity to be a very big fish in a very small pond as a VTS ECC and as an MBA with a veterinary technician license. And it's just been a very, very different game being able to come from things at this side as opposed to from the veterinary side. And I look back and I think to myself, the things that I don't enjoy about veterinary medicine, writing records, delving deep into things that are not necessarily like the fun physiology, worrying constantly in ways about the litigious aspects and things like that. All of those things are things that are pretty inherent to the veterinary role. Whereas we as technicians get so many opportunities to really have that fun science, to do the petting fluffy kittens and puppies and to really being involved with the clients in the ways that we want to. And honestly, I don't think that I would have gotten any of that had it all worked out for me. So I just really encourage everyone to think about the next time that something doesn't go right for you and how potentially that was actually the best thing that could have happened to you.
Right.
Right.
It's what you do with it. It's what you do with
Yes.
that opportunity and how you react to, because everything's an opportunity even when it doesn't look like it.
Yep. Yep, absolutely. It really, really is. And honestly, you make your choices as to how to react, and that's way more important than what happens in the first place.
Right. And that's exactly what Michelle did with her
Yeah,
Yeah.
situation.
Yeah. I don't,
absolutely.
yeah. I went from, I lost my job, my dream job, my retirement job, and
Yes.
I unexpectedly lost it. And I was crying. Like, I remember I sobbing in my robe, like eating Oreos, watching I Love Daisy from like 2009. I remember watching that and just being in this horrible, horrible state. But I was like, what are my options when I started thinking about doing this? When I did like my first like nail trim in somebody's house, I didn't know that was gonna snowball into all of like everything that I've been trying to do, everything I wanted to do, and have so many more open door opportunities. And I look back and I'm like, that was meant to be. Like, I do think that I had to get knocked down hard in order for me to stand up on my own 2 feet. And if I was still at that company, I would have been sold, merged at this point. Like, that job, I don't even think exists anymore. And I'm lucky I got out why I did. And it's what you do at that moment. And we see those posts from those texts in the groups and they're like, guys, I just lost my job. What do I do? I'm applying to
Yeah.
every vet clinic. What do I do? And it's like, there's
Yeah.
other things you can do to stay in the industry and find your own path.
And we're not saying that that's it's not okay to mourn or grieve that, because I mean that's a process that you have to go through. I mean, I did the same thing when I got laid off, and I'd never been laid off before, and I had left a great job to go to that job, and then that job laid me off. And so I was like, I made a mistake. I went through a whole grieving process, like everything, like my whole world had been crashed down. And so you got to go through that grieving process, but then it's what you do after that too.
After.
So,
Well, and the other thing with that is that I think one of the things that happens to us fairly often is we just see the finite moment of the situation.
right.
And the reality is that you guys have, a solid 20 years less than me, I think. You're both looking super, super young. So I'm gonna come in as the old folk in the room, but I've reinvented myself so many times over the last few years because every time I get a little stagnant or something gets a little, I don't want to say uncomfortable because you should work through uncomfortable, but
Right.
like when you find that you're not enjoying life and there's a need for a change, absolutely you can mourn for that loss. But if you view it as an opportunity to reinvent yourself and to really think about, hey, how am I going to redesign my life to be just a little bit closer to what I really want long term? Like that all of a sudden turns something that maybe is feels like a loss into something that feels like a real chance to redevelop.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have a one specific success story that you have in the back of your head that reaffirms that yes, you've made the right decision when you chose this particular path?
Well, I've chosen quite a few different paths. So tough to
Your
say. I think
entrepreneurial path.
my entrepreneurial path, I think the biggest success story happens every single year when we go on cruise. And before our first talk of our first day, we do something called firsts. And when we sit down and everyone's in the room and everyone's getting settled, we say, what are the firsts for your cruise? We might get a little raunchier than that and, talk about popping cherries, but we'll keep it clean for your podcast.
Oh,
Um,
have you heard our podcast? There's nothing clean about some of our episodes, my dear, but
and hearing these veterinary technicians who have so many incredible firsts, run through some of the things that our humble little CE has allowed them to do or experience or see that they would not have otherwise gotten to. And I mean, okay, I might cry. Anyways, I get a little tiny bit emotional about it, but hearing that they've never seen an ocean, that they've never
Wow.
been outside of their
Oh,
state, that they've never been on a boat, that they've never been on a plane, that they've never stayed in a hotel, that they
wow.
have never been served a three-course meal. They've never seen a dolphin. They've never seen a pelican. Like,
Oh, wow.
just the amazing experiences that our humble little CE has been able to
yeah.
bring to these people that some of them have never been to a conference before. Some of them have never been a speaker before. Like, just the things that make me wanna do this for my rest of my life is the fact that I can say that I had that type of impact on someone else's life,
Right.
and that's enough to keep me going for many, many more years.
Yeah, that
Oh,
sounds so fun. I think it sounds like you and I, Michelle, need to go on one of these together.
right? I'm over here thinking
One of
about that in
these
my head,
CE
like,
cruises.
yeah.
It sounds so
W
fun.
we had a podcaster do a podcast from one of them, and it was pretty fun.
Oh, really? Oh, that'd
Mhm,
be fun.
So,
mhm.
yeah, that is, yeah. When's the Alaskan one?
We don't know yet. We're still because we have to find a cruise liner that has a CE space available. So,
Mm.
yep.
'Cause I've heard
So
the Alaskan cruises were, like, the
The
best.
best, yes.
I've
so
never
I
actually been on a cruise before.
Me
I've
either.
vacationed, I've been to Greece, I've been to France, I've been to Mexico, but I've never actually been on a cruise before.
Me either.
So it is an awful lot of fun. It is a little bit of hedonistic joy, right? Like eat more than one appetizer, eat two entrees, like, go sit on a beach for a couple hours, go pet stingrays. We're doing swimming with pigs, like all of the
Oh my
fun
gosh.
things in the wide, wide world, right? My daughter has picked out every animal experience known to man. We met stingrays, we're going to go meet capybaras, like all of
Oh,
all of the things. And it's just so incredibly fun going on horseback rides on the beach. Like there's a million different fun experiences that you get to do while also getting in CE that is made for veterinary technicians, right? Like vet techs have put this together. So you know that it's clinically relevant. You know that it's really incredibly thought through and really well put together. And honestly, the idea that after a CE talk that really moves you, that really gets you into the subject, that now you're going to go have dinner with this person and you're going to see them around the cruise ship and that you're going to like hang out in the hot tub with Tabitha Sarah and talk about behavior stuff or hang out with Heidi and talk a little bit about anesthesia or just Mary Berg and ask her about dental stuff. Like, not that I would do that in a hot tub, but also it's just so incredibly fun to
Well,
get
it
to know.
sounds like very intimate relationships too.
Yeah.
Like you're
Yep.
very like
Yep.
it's not just a conference where you're just going and you're just sitting there and you're listening to a lecture and then you're moving on and then it's like, "Oh, I'm glad that's over." Like it's an
Yep.
experience.
It
It's a
is.
whole
Is yeah.
experience.
It's an experience, and it's only 100 to 120 people, right? So it's a very intimate experience, and
Yes.
you get to know everyone on these cruises. And honestly, you get mentorship from people that I mean, like it blows my mind that I know them, right? Like it
Mhm.
blows my
Right.
mind, and my fangirl senses are tingly every time I get to say, "Oh, and that was one of our speakers at VetTech Life, CE on this
Right?
incredible stuff," right?
And learning with pleasure makes you learn and retain the information more too.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And honestly, I might have a little too much fun with it, but I get to pick out the coolest topics known to man. Oh, you want an anesthesia escape room? I got you. You want
Oh,
to,
Oh,
that'd be fun.
it's,
Yeah.
I mean, it's just a blast. Like honestly, start to finish, the things that we get to do and just how you can kind of get stuffy at CE.
Yeah.
You're wearing
yeah.
the business
Mhm.
clothes, you're a little bit stuffy, like, for us, sandals are a required wear, right? And people who maybe wanna take an hour off to go hit the pool, 100%, that is your thing, right? And, honestly, the jokes get just a little bit less PG when you're on a cruise ship, you know?
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
a lot of fun.
Yeah. No, that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I see your updates for the cruises, so we will be on the lookout for the next ones coming up, especially the Alaskan ones. I know me and Jen are going to VMX, and we saw your one that's coming up. It's like right about the same time, but
Yep.
after
Yep.
that, like we got schedules open. I
Yeah.
think I
And
don't.
the
Yeah.
VMX is the first big conference that I'm ever gonna go to, ever been to. So,
Slate some time at VMX to hang out with me. I would love to take you guys to
oh, you
some
guys are gonna. Oh, you're gonna be there.
You're gonna be
Cool.
there?
Okay.
Yeah.
So excited. So excited. No, but
Yes.
it's definitely one of those things where it's the biggest little conference you've ever been to in your life. Like it's just, a lot of fun that way. And we try and
Yes.
keep it very affordable because, vet
Yeah.
tech.
For
That
right.
tech salary. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But also Vet Tech Vacation too, and Fangirl, we're like your favorite people, so it's
Yeah.
all the more reason to go.
Right.
And honestly, I think one of the things that we don't do well as veterinary technicians is use our CE time and our CE
Right.
budget.
Oh. Mm-mm.
Right? And why not use it in a way that really honors the things that we want out of life,
Right.
right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
don't use your CE budget to go to Pittsburgh. Nothing against Pittsburgh people.
Right.
Right, like, go to Hawaii or go to
Yeah.
Orlando, Florida, like, I wanna go to Harry Potter World, that's what I told Michelle, I was like, "I don't like, I'm taking at least one day off for the BMX, and I'm going to Harry Potter World because
There
that's
you
what
go.
I've always wanted to do." So,
We're
yeah, like
doing the space center right after the cruise. So that'll be our like little fun thing.
oh, nice, yeah, that would be
Yeah.
fun.
And when you talk about like make it work for you, I don't know if this is at least my accountant has okayed this, but I work expense mine. Mine comes right
Yeah.
out
Yeah,
whenever
I
I
do
go to.
too.
Yep, we actually before I hopped on the call with you, Kelly, I was actually going through with some expenses from last year with my accountant and my financial advisor, and right there you could see the charges from WVC, food and beverage, and
Yep.
you could like I expensed everything. It came out
And
of
the
my work
CE
account. Yep.
itself and
Yep,
yeah.
everything was fully expensed by my business, by my
Mhm.
LLC. So, I mean,
Yeah.
again,
It is
making
one
it
of the
work for
most
you.
powerful things that you could ever do is having a business to get tax breaks to run
Yes.
expenses through. Like it's just a really incredible way of doubling what you actually make.
Right, and we
Yeah.
didn't have to ask for the time off. We were
Nope.
able to be
Oh,
like,
there
"Oh,
you go.
we're going to
Yeah,
the
we're going.
VMX this year,
Yep.
and we
Mhm.
don't have to worry about asking for the time off."
It's pretty impressive. Yeah. And honestly, once you feel that freedom, it is very hard to go back to the 9 to 5. So
Yeah,
Yes.
I love the
it is.
idea that it is becoming easier and easier for technicians to stay in the practice by doing relief. I love that there's so many opportunities for us to just grow in a million different ways, especially as we're starting to think about the different avenues, even VTS and things like that as well.
Right.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So, with all that, I know we talked a lot, but what is your favorite part of the job?
Oh gosh.
Yes, of the
So
entrepreneurship.
I knew you were going to ask this question, and I'm still like, there's so many things. There's so many things. I think my favorite part of entrepreneurship is just creating my own opportunities. Entrepreneurship means that I can choose that I want to go to one conference versus another conference, that I can choose to create a situation where I need to vacation more often in Vieques, Puerto Rico, an island where horses outnumber the people, right? Like
Oh,
that's not terrible. Life
no.
is
Yeah.
not normal. I can choose to need to work on my house in Alaska during the caribou migration that happens one street over from my house. Like there's just incredible opportunities that I can decide between because of the fact that I have entrepreneurship, backing that decision, whatever that happens to be.
Awesome.
Yes.
And then what is the most important lesson that the job has taught you?
The most important lesson is that I don't have to do all the things myself. I love automation and I can trust automation. And I will tell you that I did not trust it at first.
Okay.
You have to fall a few times. You have to try a few things. You have to be a little bit brave when you first turn on those automations, when you first get a VA that you're using and get a host platform for things or get a text platform as you were talking about, Michelle, right? Like
Yeah, something.
you have to trust all those things and you don't have to do everything yourself. You can outsource your accounting and your financial planning. You can outsource things, and as long as you're seeing a return on investment, as long as you're seeing that give you more time somewhere else, that is a really, really strong way of learning your lessons and letting other people do things that are not your strong suits. I like thinking in terms of every task that I do as an A, B, C, or D. A are things that I do really, really well and I really, really enjoy them. I'm never going to give up an A task. B are things that I either don't do super well, I do mediocrely, or I don't love. I love them mediocrely. And those things, I probably will keep most of those things on my plate and I will work on getting those better so that I can be more proficient. C is either something that I hate doing or something that I don't do well. And those are going to be things that I'm trying to offload. And D are
Okay.
things that I both hate doing and I do terribly poorly. And those are the things that I absolutely will offboard. I will find someone to do it. I will hire someone to do it. Cleaning my house, cooking my meals, 100% D things, right? And honestly, thank God I found my husband. Yeah. Well,
Yes, that's
Yes.
my husband cooks all
I
of my
do.
meals, and I
yep.
do. I have somebody that comes and deep cleans my house at least once a month. I have 3 dogs and I have 2 cats. Okay, the most I can do
Yes.
is vacuum, maybe every other
Yes.
day, keep
Yep.
track of the litter box and things like that. But I mean, come on, the deep cleaning, especially like with the work that we already do, and then if you think about
Yes.
like people who are working in the vet field and then they're constantly cleaning and just like the last thing you want to do is come home and clean your house. So,
Mm-mm.
And
yeah,
I
I
can deep
absolutely
clean a
agree with
vet
that.
clinic all day long and twice on Sunday.
Yeah,
100%.
yeah, me too.
But I cannot do my own house.
Me neither. It's weird, but I don't understand it myself, but yep, totally get it.
Yep.
Absolutely. And I mean, I also think it's kind of hard though too, because, and I don't know if a lot of veterinary technicians are like this, but I know that I was slash am still like this, where even at work, I'll think of all of the things that I have to do, and it's really hard for
Oh,
me to
yes.
delegate
Hmm.
because I'm thinking like, okay, well, this needs to get done, but also, are they going to do it as well as I'm going to do it? So I might as well just do
Yes.
it. So let me just finish what I'm doing, and then I can get to that, and things like that, where it's kind of difficult for us to delegate a little bit, and so especially when it comes to owning your own business,
Yep.
delegating those things out, because when it's your business, it's like it's your
It's your
precious, right? Like
baby.
everything is
I agree.
precious,
Yes.
everything's your baby. Like everything that is gonna go wrong, or everything that you don't want to go wrong, like you're in control of that, right? Like you at least have the power and control of that. And then when you start giving that out to like AI or to VAs or to other people, I mean, even I've had this conversation with Michelle of like me even thinking about because I have so much relief work right now, but I'm only one person where
Yeah.
I'm like thinking about like, oh, should I start recruiting other technicians? But I'm like, oh, but it's my business and it's my name. And if there's a call out or if they're not as maybe as efficient as I am, I've already created my name, I've created my business, this is my reputation. Do I really want to give it to other people? So like those things are scary.
It's incredibly scary. But when we think about, you know, some of the scare comes off when we think about starting with our D-level tasks.
Mhm.
Start with the stuff that you know you're not great at. Start and build that resilience of having someone help you with things, right?
Yeah.
And then you can kind of creep into the tasks that you either don't have time for or the tasks that you're only one person for. But if you start on the things that you know you're already not doing so hot and you see how much help you can get by offloading that some to someone. And honestly, delegation is love. I think one of the toughest things that we have is delegation because of the fact that A, we know that we are that person who's going to do it right. And B,
Yes.
we don't want to assume that someone else should do something for us, right? Like we
Right.
feel guilty about that kind of thing. But the
Yes.
reality is that whether it be a VA, whether it be a virtual assistant, whether it be a CSC, whether it be, someone who's doing an externship, the more that we can help them grow into something, even if they're not doing it perfectly, right? Even if we can give them a little bit of background and give them something to grow into, that is incredibly helpful for them, and we need to stop taking so much guilt on for delegating to other people, right?
Right.
I feel guilty every time I say, "Hey kid, can you do the lawn?" Right? My daughter. But the reality is that every time that I give her an opportunity to do the lawn, she has an opportunity to make a little bit of money. She has an opportunity to learn how to take care of something that is going to be hers in the future. There's opportunities both for you and for them. And so we just have to be
Okay.
brave and delegate, and delegation is love.
Right.
No,
Another
and
another lesson to learn.
and like you said, it's a good opportunity for them as well. You don't know who you
Yeah.
might be bringing in under your wing to learn new stuff. I never thought about it that way. You're giving somebody else an opportunity as well.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely. And even if it's not that thing, right? Even if that thing is something that's menial, that, hey, they're not going to value learning, giving you more time by doing that one task and taking that task off your plate. Like maybe it's cleaning a cage, right? If they're doing that and that's saving you time, you have an opportunity to teach them something that is high value that they are going to want to learn. And so there has to be a situation where something has to come off our plates in order to have a mental load to train someone else. And that is a really good opportunity for them as well.
So, Kelly, how do you balance your personal life with your business?
I definitely have my buckets of time. So I very much think in terms of, hey, if it's sitting on the couch and hanging out with my husband and we're not like deep in conversation, I might be getting something done. But if we're having dinner, things stop and we pay attention to each other, right? Or if I'm rock climbing with my kiddo, like that is time that is just hers. I'm not going to take a work call during that. I'm not going to do things that are going to drag me from that moment. I really think in terms of, hey, is this time sacred or is it not? And I really think in terms of everything that I do in my business as trying to set up more sacred time, trying to give myself freedom, because honestly, it's so easy to get drug in as an entrepreneur into taking more and more and more and more time to work on the business. And you're so busy working in the business that you're not working on the business. Whereas, right, like we have an opportunity to add another technician to your relief and create a bigger and a growing business by branching out. But we're so busy working in the business that we can't work on growing the business, right?
Right.
So I think that there's a lot to be said for, hey, how can I think about this as not only sustainable for today, but also really moving towards that life that I want? And that life that I want is freedom.
Right.
Am I going to give myself more business to need freedom from? Or am I going to give myself a business that can operate on its own to give myself more freedom? And maybe it's not exactly perfect the way that you'd want it to be, but it's gonna be good enough to grow, right?
Right.
Right. I think I heard somebody say, like, it's that point where you go from business operator to business owner. I can't coin that.
Yes,
I heard it somewhere, and that's what, like, what you're wrapping up is, like, what you're saying is, like, you're gonna become a business owner from a business operator.
absolutely.
Mhm.
You will never do better than finding someone who thinks like you and does like you and giving them all the power in the world to help you be you.
Love
Yeah.
that. Makes me wanna hire an assistant. Like
I I know a place you can go. It's called Team.
okay. No, I mean, and like, I mean, yeah, we offload some of our work, like you mentioned the list, A, B, C, D list, and I was in my head going, all right, that's why I have somebody to manage, my property up north because
Yep.
that's something I don't want to do. I have my tax guy and my financial advisor team, like
Yeah.
because I don't do that. I didn't even know what fiduciary was until my husband's like, "Are you fiduciary?" That's why that's on my D list because I don't know anything about that. And I didn't want to take the time to learn it. I'm like, I got nails to trim. I don't this is not my gig. So yeah,
Yeah.
I sent that out to somebody and I don't have to worry about it, but maybe a few times a year. Like it's
Well, and
perfect.
same thing goes with, set it and forget it investments,
Yep.
right? I just have an investment that every month, 3 times a week, something comes out and goes into the 3 buckets. And honestly, every time that you think about how to set up something so that you don't have to think about it, so that it doesn't have to impact your life, the more you're giving yourself that freedom to grow.
So, if you could go back and give advice to your younger self, what would it be?
Leap before you look. I was so deep into I was so deep into making sure that I did everything right, that I didn't do everything at all, right? Like there was just a point where all of a sudden I was going to make a leap no matter what that looked like. And I will tell you straight away that the first 3 leaps were terrible. I tried to purchase a house that unfortunately had no access, driveway access. I figured that out and moved on, right? I lost a little bit of money, but it's fine. I tried to purchase an RV park that we were going to make into a tiny home village. Turns out it was a dirty deed and there was, 30 other people
Oof.
who owned it, and
Mm.
but we figured it out and we moved on, right? And so there's all of these terrifying scenarios that could stop you from doing whatever you enjoy, right? But if you leap before you look and if you start today instead of tomorrow, it is always going to work in your favor. And honestly, failing fast is the best way to fail, right? Like if you can figure out that something's not going to work, it is not a terrible thing, right? It is not the end of the world. It just means that you figured out what way is not going to take you forward and how you have to pivot, right? Every lesson is something that's going to take you in the right direction.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yep.
I agree with that.
Yep. Every
And
That's
time you
what
every
fail, you
direction is
succeed, right?
interesting. Every
Yeah, and
direction is a new place. Yep.
you can say that, you know, there were little mistakes and things that happened when you did them, but at the same time, like, though they grew you, right? Because then you had a challenge and then you had to deal with that challenge and then you fixed it. And then once I am always that person where it's like, if I go through a challenge and then I figure it out, you can take on the world at that point, right? You're like, wow, if I
Yeah,
got through that, I can get through anything. And so
absolutely.
those challenges are what's going to grow you. What's going to make you better. I mean, and I think as human beings, we don't like challenges. We don't like anything that's going to make us feel uncomfortable. We don't like it when things don't go our way. But again, it's what we talked about earlier. It's what you do with those challenges. We have our brains. That's what our brains are for. We don't utilize our brains enough. So then when we go through those challenges and we figure it out and we get to the other side, we're like, damn, I did that. I figured that out. All right, what's
And
the next thing?
and sometimes they feel incredibly insurmountable. I went through a divorce not so long ago, like 7, 8 years ago. And honestly, like having my net worth cut in half and
Hmm.
losing all of the momentum that I had and really like feeling like I had gone back down to zero and then feeling like my whole entire life was, defunct. And
Hmm.
and And honestly, you never know how great the other side is. Like that's the huge lesson, right? Like
Right.
absolutely fail fast, but also recognize that failure is not the end. Like none
Right.
of that is the end of your story. And there's always, a step 2, a step 3, a step 4. And getting on to redesigning your life as quickly as you possibly can after a failure is just the most imperative thing, right? Remember that you're always looking at what life could look like for you. And honestly, sometimes that means that loss, right? The
Mhm.
loss of the job, the loss of the husband, the loss of the life that you think you built. And and you have no idea how great life is going to look if you just redesign it the way that you need it to look.
Right. And then the empowerment that it gives you, right? I know that when I got divorced, because I went through the same thing. I was with somebody for 12 years
Mhm.
and things happened and there wasn't any choice for me. I had to get out. I had to get out of
Absolutely.
that situation. And there were very close family members that were telling me that I wasn't gonna be happy because I was gonna have to work more. And that's my end goal was try not to work as much, right?
Right.
And they were saying, like, no matter how he's treating you, no matter what he's done to you, you should stay because you'll have more financial freedom. And I made the choice to say, no, I'm going to figure this out. And if I have to work 2 or 3 jobs, which I was at that point in time, I was working as a vet tech, I was working 2 or 3 jobs because, I mean, he left me. He left me high and dry. I had to pay all the bills. I had to pay the mortgage. I had to, you know, when life is falling apart as an adult, we still have to, the world still is spinning. You have to
Yeah.
pay
Yeah.
your bills, you have to figure things out. And I did it, and I did not think I was going to be able to get through it. And man, Mel, like the empowerment that it gave me to know that my biggest fear had happened and I made it through it. And not only did I make it through it, but I fucking conquered it. Like I conquered it.
And look
And
at your life now. Like
right.
your life now is unimaginable to that self that you were.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And I always say if I could go back, like, to this day, if I could go back and talk to, like, the girl that was on Thanksgiving Day, like, crying on the couch, like, thinking that her life was over and that the world had crumbled, like, I could just be like, "Everything is literally gonna be okay, you're gonna be fine, and you're gonna conquer this." But it's crazy. And then you do it, and you just that empowerment that you give yourself, like, those challenges are what's gonna grow you, and that's what's gonna tell you that you got this. You can do anything.
Absolutely. And honestly, you have an opportunity to find happiness in yourself, before
Yeah.
you ever get into a new life, right? Like, so you are the one who is architecting what that looks like. And
Yep.
you are the one who is redefining your purpose and your goals and the things that you'll put up with and the things you won't and the things that are going to make you happy and the things that won't. And honestly, this conversation could be about anything. It could be about being in a job, being in a family
Mhm.
situation, being in a relationship. The things that you maybe are buying that are putting shackles on you, right?
Right.
There's so many different things that if we just think about what really, really entices us, excites us, keeps us alive, keeps us happy, and design our lives towards it, we can choose to keep or not keep anything in our world.
Right. Yeah, absolutely. So, I completely agree. Like, bring on the challenges, you guys. Even though we don't like the
We
challenges are what's gonna, like, that's what's gonna grow
define
you.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And
Yeah.
anyone who is listening to this and is in the middle of a challenge, like take a moment, take a breath, and recognize that what life looks like right now is not what like life is going to look like in a day, a week, a month.
Right. It's temporary.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
and make the changes to make sure that it's temporary if it's something that's not serving you.
Right.
Yes.
Yep, you
Uh,
have the choice.
Wow, we took this deep.
yeah. We do have a tendency to go into like deep topics with our guests
I
sometimes.
love it
So yeah.
though.
Okay.
This is some real talk.
We try. That's what we aim for is we want like the nitty gritty kind of like real. Like we want
Yeah.
technicians. I am a huge podcast fan, but when I started this with Jen, I was like, I want to be authentic because
Mhm.
I want technicians to hear the good, the bad, the ugly, because that's what the technicians who are listening to this are going to be on their way to work crying they're going through a divorce. They're going to be the
Yeah.
ones who are crying that knowing that they're going to get laid off next month and they're going to hear this and
Right.
they're going to hopefully be inspired because it's like we all went through this at some point.
Yeah.
And that's why we're here is to be like real and deep and just cut right down to the meat sometimes.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes. Right. And I mean, like I said, I'm a fan of your work and everything that you've done, and you have inspired a lot of technicians. You really have. And the way you talked about the cruise, you have obviously changed some lives. But Kelly, is there anyone in your life that you would like to dedicate this episode to? Anyone in your personal or work who has in some way inspired or influenced you?
I had to write this out because I had a list so long, and I'm maybe going to keep it a little bit more simple than the list that I wrote out because honestly, I could go on forever, but there are so many. I mean, there are just incredible people who have touched my life in a dozen different ways. I mean, from my first mentor, Angel Rivera, to my mentor for my VTS, John, to Maureen Casey, who started this cruise with me together, and who you know bequeathed me that tech life, to Lynn Keller, who talked me into going for an MBA. There are so many people who took a moment out of their day to train me, teach me, help me grow. And honestly, there are more than I could ever mention. And I don't even know how to do this question justice, but everyone who has touched me along the way, like in a HR appropriate way. Just
Love that.
Oh, Kelly, I hope I get to meet you one day. I got a feeling. I got
oh,
a
we are gonna have fun at VMX.
yeah,
Um,
yes.
everyone who has been able to give me just a little bit of, hey, here's a reignition of your passion, a reignition of your love of vet med. I appreciate you all. Every person that I have interacted with, from uh my friend Karen, who constantly is supporting me, to Nancy Shaffron, who told me that all of the secrets to getting into speaking, to Leslie Wereshek, who she is constantly out for growth of veterinary technicians and has certainly invested in my growth, to Nanette Walker, who has supported me in every step of every journey that I've ever taken, to um, just there's too many to say. There really, really is. But honestly, I appreciate you all. And if I didn't mention you, it's only because I don't want the podcast to be 18 hours.
Yep.
Yes.
But that's how it goes, though. I mean, we all have so many people that have really influenced us to get us this far and to be even still be in the field and trying to figure out different ways to reignite other people's passions and other people who don't want to do this anymore and they don't know what
Yeah.
else to do. So,
And honestly, if we can be just a little bit of light to someone else, I challenge everybody to just go out and be someone's reason for getting up tomorrow.
yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
I love it.
Yes. It's a beautiful way to wrap up the show. Love
Mhm.
it.
Yep.
You guys, this has
Kelly.
been a blast.
Oh,
Oh, we're
good.
so
I'm
glad you had
glad.
fun. Yes. We're so glad you had fun.
We're so happy that you were able to come on and to have this talk with us. I know Michelle was a little nervous because she's on so many other podcasts. I don't even know. Like, she's gonna judge us.
I'm only famous in my own mind. No, I'm just kidding. I'm not famous in anybody's mind.
So yes. So thank you again so much. So everybody, I hope you enjoyed this episode. We hope
Mhm.
that we taught you some lessons about finances,
Yeah.
some lessons about how to get back up when you've been kicked down and when you think you're in that deep, dark place.
Hmm.
Kelly, it has been an absolute honor to have you on the show. I am
Thank you so
so glad that
much.
you came aboard, and hopefully we'll be seeing you soon.
Absolutely.
you so much for tuning in to Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. We hope you enjoyed today's episode and found some valuable insights. If you did, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave us a review and let us know what you think. You can also connect with us on all social media platforms at Endless Journeys, the VetTech Odyssey podcast. Until next time, keep learning, keep growing, and keep making a positive impact in the veterinary world. We need you guys. Have a great day.